This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like going to work on one Thursday morning and thinking to yourself, just one more day until Friday. But then somebody in the elevator says, Happy Friday! Then you check your phone quickly and discover today is actually Friday. So yes, Happy Friday, random stranger in the elevator. Happy Friday indeed. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awijan? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Our annual Thanksgiving special, which also means we'll be back on Thursdays, most likely, for Brave the Wild. Obviously, there's always a possibility of schedule changes off and on. The Minnesota Wild, of course, this year have been a wonderful surprise for the most part. In fact, I would say for the absolute most part. Unfortunately, can't seem to get past the Jets for some reason, or the Dallas Stars. But other than that, I can't say Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Other than that, Mr. Somebody, how was the election? Yeah, thumbs up. So good job, and everything is going pretty smoothly for the Wild, generally speaking. 14-4-4. To open up the season as we head into Thanksgiving Day. They always talk about Thanksgiving being a huge checkpoint, you could say, in terms of the regular season and how your projection is to the playoffs. So right now that would make the Wild look pretty damn good, and teams like the Nashville Predators that put a lot of money in, put a lot of investment, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of term into their off-season. Things not looking good for the Nashville Predators. So, remember last year we were in a pretty crappy, pretty precarious situation last season. The Nashville Predators, oh my God. The Minnesota Wild, okay, we'll start 4 points behind the Winnipeg Jets, but also a game in hand versus the Jets, who have 23 games played. Nashville Predators also have 23 games played, which again is tied for the second most. I guess St. Louis is 24. Dang it, St. Louis, you threw me off there. Nashville's in dead last, tied with Chicago Blackhawks, who have a game in hand over the Nashville Predators. Yikes. 7-12-4 with 18 points. Minnesota Wild 32, again 4 points behind the hated Winnipeg Jets. I don't like the Jets very much. I don't. They're 18-5-0. They haven't had a single overtime loss of any kind, be it shootout or overtime itself. The Wild have had 4, which is kind of annoying because when you factor that into the postseason, what happens? You lost. You just lost. You don't get you don't get a point, and you don't have that weird third column in the standings. You just lost. Sorry. Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it? Utah, the Utah Blue Circles. Okay, I guess they're called the Utah Hockey Club. How creative. Yeah, well, the games played to points ratio, not so good right there. 22 games, 21 points. Okay, now I'm kind of going off in a random weird tangent here. But generally speaking, Minnesota Wild, again, very positive story. Minnesota Timberwolves on the other side of the river, which is my side of the river, unfortunately. I'm not on the east side, I'm on the west side. The Timberwolves are 8-10. We'll be talking about them tomorrow on Black Friday. Timberwolves Explosion podcast. Things are exploding, and it's more like Timberwolves implosion when you consider how opposite last year was around this time when the Wolves were hanging around number 1 in the Western Conference. And last year the Wild were screwing around way down there in the mediocre land, 10 to 11 to 13th seed, something like that. That's where the Wolves are hanging around, and the Wild hanging around in the top two, the top 2, 3-ish in the East, in the Western Conference. Sorry, so very positive vibes on the east side of the river with Brave the Wild. I forgot to mention, which is really stupid in the intro, we are part of the Hockey Podcast Network, THPN, the Hockey Podcast Network, and I thank Dylan and Kyle oh so much for having us on board there with Brave the Wild. So yeah, us in terms of, I guess, just me, because I'm the host and the and the executive producer and all that cute stuff. So, but at least for Brave the Wild, but on THPN, Dylan and Kyle leading the way there, coming in from Vancouver, British Columbia. Really appreciate you guys and do a wonderful job. And yeah, you'll be hearing from DraftKings Game Time and our good friends also with Raycon. Big fan of the Raycon earbuds, huge. So we'll get to that shortly. Sorry, I'm kind of, it's nice to be back in the swing of things here, and Thanksgiving is always very exciting. The vibe is perfect because we got the lawn cleanups done, which is, again, what you're hoping for here, so I could do regular Thursday episodes. It's considerably below freezing without being super cold, and it's snow flurrying. There's nothing better than snow flurries. You know why? Because you don't have to do anything, and it's nice and cool. It's not like the wet, nasty mess. So even if there's a tiny dusting, it's like, it's not going to hurt anybody. That's what's nice about flurries. They're harmless, and they just calm me down. They're wonderful. They're chill. Okay, let's get to the Minnesota Wild, the topics and such. Of course, again, I'm going to try to make this show more and more topical versus just like game reviews and game previews and such. Though, of course, we will, as always, look at the prospects, which we love doing in the latter half of the second segmento. But, of course, yeah, we'll look at the upcoming games, but I'm going to try to not babble so much like I'm doing right now. What's annoying is the Wild, so to open things up, the Wild still can't beat Dallas or Winnipeg. I'm not sure what to make of that other than, well, you just hope we don't run into them in the first round again, because odds are this team is going to make the postseason. At least I would hope so. But can we finally get past those guys? At the end of the day, I don't see Dallas or Winnipeg winning the Stanley Cup. I still think it's going to be like an Edmonton Oilers type of a team. I think it's going to be, if it's the Western Conference, I don't think it comes from our division, unless, like, by God's grace, it's the Minnesota Wild, which would be the coolest thing ever, with the way Philip Gustavsson's playing, maybe. But I think if it's going to come from the West, I think it's Edmonton or Vegas, honestly. I think so. Probably not Calgary, because we all know what happens there. They tend to flame out in the second half of the year whenever they start well, or they flame out in the postseason. And I like the Calgary Flames / Atlanta Flames, whatever, other than Norm Green being from Calgary, which is annoying as hell. I hope you liked the last episode. It was a Saturday night special talking about what could have been. Check that one out if you could. Please do. There was a scenario I brought up where maybe if that stupid idiot was a little bit less, immoral and a little bit more patient, maybe the North Stars could have stayed and Dallas could have had an expansion team. So, yeah, interesting. Now I just let the cat out of the bag, but oh well. But check that out if you could. It would be very nice. Kirill Kaprizov in 21 games is 35 points. Of course, he's had a couple of scares. A knee-on-knee hit, which was really annoying, versus an Edmonton Oiler named Drake. Interesting name there, but that's the first name anyway. Knee-on-knee hit. He was also hit in the face earlier in the year. But through all the scary moments, like the knee-on-knee situation and getting hit in the face and all that, Kirill Kaprizov has missed only one game, so that's insanely impressive. Also, another guy really getting hit in the face was Joel Eriksson Ek, and he's been missing a bit of time, but has returned, thankfully. He only missed 3 games miraculously, but unfortunately his number is way down from last year. So hopefully Joel Eriksson Ek can kind of find that form that he had the last 3 years or so, that he kept building up, after, kind of a slow start to his career, and a lot of people thinking that the Wild blew it in that one because of, there were some really nice players taken around that same part of the draft. But generally speaking, the 2015 draft is pretty friendly to the Wild at the top line there with Ek and Kaprizov, both coming from that. Frederick Gaudreau obviously has been a nice general renaissance, I would say. He's not been great, but he's been pretty good. Crazy. Joel Eriksson Ek's been losing faceoffs. Yeah, it was like, generally speaking, we don't win faceoffs here in Minnesota. You just look at down the line, everybody's got a below 50% percentile on the faceoff circle, except for Freddie Gaudreau, who's slightly above, 118 to 110. Interesting. Yes, these are random thoughts here and there. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of babbling. Yakov Trenin, I'm so glad we gave him a decent amount of money, and was it like a 3-year term or something like that? 22 games, 1 assist.
It sucks. Oh, God, it sucks.
Exquisite. Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, he's a good penalty killer. He's good on the penalty kill. Yeah, sure, he's good on the penalty kill. But how good is our penalty kill? What are we, at the 26th in the league? Yeah, 26th in the league. Well, at least we're not dead last. 3 things that I think are the main factors for the Wild being so much better than last year. Obviously, Spurgeon being here is helpful. It's nice. I've not been the nicest guy to Spurgeon the last couple of years because, well, I mean, it's hard to be a fan of somebody that's, like, never healthy. You know what I mean? And they're extremely expensive, you know, and their contract goes on until, like, 2048. Well, just about. Anyhow, penalty kill 26. Thank you very much. But yeah, see, that's slightly improved compared to, like, historically bad last year. But what's also an insane, but what's also an improvement, but an insane one in this case, is you don't have the killer combo of, like, you're in the box every 10 seconds and then you get scored on again because your penalty kill sucks. This year, the Wild, instead of having, like, the second most penalties in the league, have the 3rd least penalties in the league. And this all probably kind of goes together. Philip Gustavsson's playing insanely better. Number 1 in the league in goals against. Number 1 in the league in goals against the Minnesota Wild. Thank you very much. And a guy named Philip Gustavsson, who if you trade right now, you might get 3 first round. Okay, maybe not that much, but you might come out pretty good. He's 10.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like going to work on one Thursday morning and thinking to yourself, just one more day until Friday. But then somebody in the elevator says, Happy Friday! Then you check your phone quickly and discover today is actually Friday. So yes, Happy Friday, random stranger in the elevator. Happy Friday indeed. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
And 4 on the year in 17 games with 3 overtime. Dang it. 2 shutouts. Save percentage right about 93. That's pretty high. Pretty good, you know. Pretty high in a good way. Goals against average 2.06. That's, you know, he's in the territory for that Vezina Trophy range. Maybe not quite at the frickin' Hellebuck, who gave the Wild a hell of a time twice this year. That was a fun pun, I guess. Marc-Andre Fleury's been in 5 games so far. He's 4-0 with an overtime loss. 4-0, though. That's kind of cool. 2.76 goals against average. They've definitely gave him a lot of goal support. 90.4 save percentage for Marc-Andre Fleury. So great, obviously. Great overall season for both goaltenders so far, and Fleury limited role, which is the right position where he should be at his age, his advanced age, and the farewell tour, and it's good and everything. It's nice and fun, but at the same time, yeah, you don't want him to be sharing the load with Philip Gustavsson to a point like it's 50-50. But you also don't want to put Gustavsson out there too much, even though he has been freaking awesome, and he's not Devin Dubnyk as much, where one thing goes wrong and it kind of goes ape-bleep. That's pretty much what happened to Devin Dubnyk historically. And of course, every stinking year, Devin Dubnyk would be like maybe the best goalie in the league up to about December-ish. And then January, okay, it's a little drop-off. February, it's a deeper drop-off. March, what the hell happened to this guy? He's giving up like 3.5 goals a game now. Come on, man. Oh, excuse me, 4 goals a game. You know, that's kind of what it would be like with Devin Dubnyk. And by April, it's like, we made the playoffs, but we'll see you next year. You know, that's kind of what happened a lot of those times. It was so annoying. You'd overuse him, but he'd also, you know, I don't know. He just was disappointing. Devin Dubnyk was frustrating for a lot of us, I think, around here. So, yes, players taking steps forward, like Matt Boldy. He's on pace for over 80 points this year. That's awesome. 22 games, 11 goals, 12 assists, 23 total points. He's a +8. Kirill the Thrill is a +16. Another guy who took a pretty big step last year, conveniently in a contract year, has, in a positive way, not sarcastically conveniently, picked up where he left off. That'd be Jake Middleton. When I was like, what the bleep? What kind of contract that we're giving him over $4 million a year for Jake Middleton? Jake Middleton? Really? Isn't he like a glorified third pair? Maybe not. He's having a pretty good year. He's leading the defenseman in goals with 4. I know it's not that big of a number, but still 12 total points in 22 games. He's on pace for like over 40 points. That's not bad, and he's a +17. That's pretty good. Freddie Gaudreau is a +9. 4 goals, 8 assists, and he's the best face-off guy we have. Freddie Gaudreau is the best face-off guy we have. Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it? Oh, boy. Yep, well, he's winning face-offs, so give him credit. Guys like Hartman, he's playing through an injury of some kind. I'll be honest, I'm claiming ignorance on that one. Some of you probably know what it is or have an idea. I'm not sure. The injury that everybody knows what it is Matt Zuccarello, is the kind of injury a lot of men have nightmares about. Like if you're an athlete playing sports or whatever, if you're playing all the way back to like 5th, 6th grade or even Little League Baseball or something, or hockey, the ball or puck coming at you extremely fast, being how hard a puck or a baseball is, or a softball can be heavy. It's not as hard as a baseball, but it's heavy. And it hits you right on the bullseye, and for some reason maybe you didn't have protection, and you require surgery for that area. How can that even happen? I don't know, but it did. The word was ruptured testicle. Like, we make jokes about this kind of stuff, like happening, like, he has a ruptured right or left. Yeah, you want to say which right or left. That'd be really nice, right? Could you imagine people saying that? But, okay, I already did, though. I don't know which one, and I don't want to know. But how do you have a ruptured, oh, my God, that's insane. Again, it's the kind of injury that men have nightmares about, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to make light of it. I'm sorry, Matt Zuccarello. But, man, that sucks. It is a nightmare, isn't it? And he was having a hell of a season. Almost on pace for 80 points this year. Now, we all know that can kind of average out, and it's all relative, and he's probably going to wind up at 60, 70 usually, but he was having a hell of a year. Another player that's been having a strong season, and you're hearing a constant conversation about him being traded at some point, and that'd be the 3rd leading scorer on the team, Marco Rossi, who obviously was very, 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 very well thought of in 2020 by all of us, myself included. Like, you just watch him, and I'm like, he looks like Steve Yzerman out there. And Isha Jerome of the Soda Pod made a face because we were like, it was unfortunately the only time I ever got to be on the show so far. Maybe someday again if they know I still exist. I don't know. The look on his face is like, Yzerman, are you crazy? He's like, what? He couldn't believe I was, but yeah, he looked like Yzerman out there for that Ottawa team, the OHL club he'd been playing for. He looked like an Yzerman type of a player out there. And, obviously you had the myocarditis and all that, and it cost him like forever. It cost him like a whole year basically, which is depressing beyond belief. And then it took a while to kind of really get caught up and kind of, become an NHLer. Like he adjusted pretty quickly to the AHL. Already like one of the best players there, kind of like what he is now with the NHL. One of the better players on the team, in fact, like a leading scorer there. But then he'd come up to the NHL and it'd be like 20 games and he'd have like an assist. And it's like, damn it, come on. And then last year, all of a sudden, finally, there we go. Now we're seeing something closer, resembling what we thought we were going to get with Marco Rossi as an NHL player. And then this year, he takes another step forward. And again, before last year, of course, again, he skipped his sister's wedding because he was so focused on his career here in the Twin Cities to get his timing right. Obviously, the proper exercises, and again, but yeah, to get his timing and to become an NHL player, and he did that. And then now, again, he takes a step forward this year. Not like a huge step, but a step. Not a baby step, an actual regular step forward, in my opinion. He's on pace for 60, 70 points, which is better than 40, 50, right? So you're thinking, okay, yeah, this guy is probably at least top 6 center. He's a top 6 forward for the Minnesota Wild for many years to come. You hope. Obviously, you're going to have to sign him at some point. You're thinking if they do sign him with where we're at and such, maybe it would be kind of a bridge contract, working up to the next level, kind of like we did with Mikhail Granlund years ago. But now, I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of conversation. We might end up trading him, which is weird. Rossi wound up with 40 points last year. I thought it was higher than that. But I think he might have had some quiet stretches. That's why. Where this year, he's clearly closer to 60 plus for this year. Again, him being Marco Rossi from Austria. Ninth overall pick. But in other drafts, he might have gone third. There were other possible drafts because that was a pretty, at least on paper, or at least from what we'd seen, the NHL experts and such draft experts had him as, he could have gone like third overall in other drafts, even higher possibly, which is pretty wild. Pun not intended, sorry. But yeah, to talk about possibly trading him, it's kind of weird. But I'll not say too much because I know Derek brings it up in the fan interaction segment, so I will leave that where that is. I don't want to overdo it and then just give him the, I already talked about that, because that's rude. So I don't want to do that to Derek. But yeah, it does seem strange. I probably already did say too much at the end of the day. Sorry for that background noise. It's just how it is, I guess. But Kaprizov, again, in Hart Trophy conversation. Obviously, he's like one of the top 3 scorers in the league right now. And the good news is he looks like that probably is where he's going to be. The only scary part is, well, you can't sign him right now. And when we do sign him, boy, is it going to be a lot. We're, we might be seeing Connor McDavid level money, like $13 million. All right. Thankfully, the cap is going up, but, is it going to keep going up? Hopefully the TV contracts improve. I've always thought the NBA is overrated when it comes to popularity on TV, and the NHL is grossly underrated. And it would be nice to see the two kind of get a little closer. Frankly, I'd like to see NBA ratings drop a little bit because, I don't know, frankly, I'm pissed off at the Wolves right now. But also, again, it's overrated a little bit. The guys like Steph Curry, the guy's a showboating ass. I'm not a fan of his, but apparently like 99% of the population thinks he's, a step under God himself or something. Anyhow, next rant. No, I'm just kidding. 6 assists so far for Spurgeon, yeah. And, yeah, thankfully for him, he's only missed 1 game on the season. He's missed only 6 games, which is surprising. Christen's been in and out of the lineup, but generally here with 5 assists. John Merrill's been in and out with only 1 assist, but he isn't hurting you. So we're happy about that. Liam Ogren, unfortunately, did not pick up where he left off, and we'll talk about him some more with Iowa, but in 8 NHL games, only 0. He's only on -2 so far. Mikey Milne, now that I'm saying it correctly, or Michael Milne, 1 game, unfortunately, so far. Shore has been in a few. Boyd, the former Gopher, 2 games. Shore's been in 4. David Hunt has only seen 1 NHL game, and he was in the box a lot. The whole press, whatever the heck they call it, press box, whatever. So that's annoying. The popcorn maker thing. And Ben Jones, 4 games. So looking at some of the guys up and down the lineup, generally speaking, who's good enough in 19 games, only 2 assists. So, yeah, obviously not a step forward for some of these guys. Whereas you see, again, Goudreau, nice renaissance. Eck steps back so far this year with injuries and such, and not been as good, unfortunately. But I mean, maybe he's just been having trouble focusing, and playing with a broken nose is not fun. Faber's pretty much picked up where he left off. Rossi a step forward, Boldy a step forward, Kaprizov a big step forward. So mostly positive. There's obviously some guys just don't have the NHL timing yet, like Liam Ogren, but I got to think that's coming sooner or later. So we'll see how things go. And we'll talk about Rossi as we continue. So, again, generally positive. The 1-0 victory over Buffalo most recently. Not the most exciting thing you ever saw, but Gustavsson did face 39 shots and was absolutely spectacular. Just has a good head on his shoulders and came in very professional this year, and boy, does he look professional. Very pleased with Philip Gustafsson's progress. So if I'm to give an award since the last episode, with Brave the Wild. It goes to Philip Gustavsson for sure. He's going to bring home the Mike Modano. Even though Kaprizov's been generally spectacular, I think Gustafsson's been even more spectacular. Whereas in the last episode, it was Kaprizov, like, of course. But Gustavsson gets it here. The James Shepard Memorial Popcorn Maker. I got to go with Yakov Trenin. I'm sorry. One assist in 22 games. It's like you got to produce a little bit. It seems kind of weird to me that you only wind up with one assist. Like, you could accidentally do something sometimes. And injuries suck, too. You have the great top line of last year reassembled for now. Again, with Zuccarello's injury and other players being in and out of the lineup and moving up and down. And that's what I like about John Hynes, is that he's willing to make adjustments, whereas Dean Evason did not make adjustments. It was simply, this is what we do. And that was kind of not good. That's probably was Dean Evason's undoing. Joel Eriksson, Boldy, and Kaprizov top line. Second line at the moment, Marco Rossi centering Ryan Hartman and Marcus Johansson. How exciting. Yeah, I know. That's pretty much it. At the when it comes to the wingers, that's it. Pretty much after the top line, that's it right now. Frederick Goudreau centering the third line. He's doing pretty good. Foligno and Trenin. Trenin's doing nothing. Foligno's, I don't know. Foligno's expensive. Yeah, for what he is. So is Trenin. It's expensive. Yeah. I mean, they're both making like, what, twice as much as Goudreau, practically. I know Foligno is basically. And then Goudreau, or Trenin's making almost twice as much. God. And then the fourth line is the Iowa Wilds. Ben Jones, Devin Shore, and Travis Boyd. Yeah, it's an Iowa line. We'll just call it the Iowa line. You have like the elite top line, the best top line ever. And then you have the young skill guy with two meh wingers. And then you have the third line where Goudreau's been better. And then two guys that aren't doing hardly anything and cost a lot of money. About $8 million per between the two of them. And the Iowa line. Okay, you get the point. Defensive pairings favor Middleton. Wonderful. Spurgeon's been with Declan Christensen, who's been pretty good. And Merrill and Bogosian, the two guys that don't kill you, have been doing a good job so far on the third line, with Jonas Brodin out again. Damn it. And that's been unfortunate. Kuznetsov's day-to-day. Zuccarello IR with the, you already know. And Brodin's been out with upper body, I believe. So, bummer. And what they might say in Australia, bugger. So that's the story there. And that's pretty much going to be the first segment for now. Well, maybe, let's see. Did I have other thoughts here? Yeah, the Rossi conversation. I mean, I'm frustrated that Damon Hunt hasn't been in the NHL, but I guess the last couple of topics kind of go into the second seggy. So with that, we'll take a quick break, come back, and maybe look at some of the upcoming games without babbling too much, and then look at the prospects and move on into fan interaction in segment 3. Keeping up with our Minnesota Wild is something we all enjoy. There's one thing about watching them on TV, which is fun and everything, but there's nothing like going to an actual game in person. You get to hear all the sounds, you get to see all the background, you get to see everything going on, all the energy when there's a player with a 2-on-1, maybe a fight starts, a big check, a spectacular goal. I mean, getting to see Kirill Kaprizov display his greatness, there's nothing like it. And you get a great opportunity to go to games. I used to not really go to games a whole lot, but now with deals like these on the Game Time app, I mean, there's nothing like it. This upcoming game on December 12th, the Minnesota Wild host the Edmonton Oilers. And, man, you get a chance to see Connor McDavid. You get the super deal, which would be in the lower deck, $109. Super deal. That's especially great. Man, I mean, you get to see Connor McDavid that close. It's pretty much about center ice. Can you believe that? $109 super deal. You better check that out. You get something as cheap as $44 to go see the Edmonton Oilers. And really, at the Xcel Energy Center, every seat is good. I mean, the sight lines are fantastic. You don't get a whole lot of... in fact, you don't really have any obscured vision at all, and you're pretty much right on top of the action. As the Xcel Energy Center was the first building in this town that really provided that type of wonderful, wonderful view. And with the Game Time app, you're going to come way ahead doing that. And especially if you get to see Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Edmonton Oilers. It's pretty exciting. Heck, they're the team I picked to win the Stanley Cup. So that's pretty much where I'm heading at the end of the day. My favorite app features overall on this, I mean, you can go all over the place. The fact that you can look at you can look all over the place at all the different possible deals. You have the super deal, you have the amazing deal, all the different categories. There's several amazing deals. $63, row 1 of 216, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Amazing deals, great deals. It's so cool. All the different categories. I think that's fantastic. One way or another, you're going to be happy. You're going to be satisfied with your opportunities with the Game Time app at the end of the day. So I mean, you gotta love it. I mean, curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on game seats. The super deal, like I just said, seat views before you buy. So yes, you can even have that. Panoramic view. I mean, it's fantastic. Lowest price guarantee. Even event cancellation protection. That'd be like if there's, that'd be like if you're maybe going to a concert or something. I would hope they're not going to have to cancel a hockey game, but I guess you never know at the end of the day. Again, Game Time picks, all-in pricing, seat views, get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. So that's pretty cool. You can actually see what it looks like before. I mean, technology is fantastic, and Game App brings you that. Game Time, pardon me. Lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN. That would be like the Hockey Podcast Network for $20 off your first purchase. So yes, even cheaper. What a deal. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2. Gonna look at the upcoming games a little bit, and of course the prospects and such. Have the Wild and Buffalo Sabres flashing in the background. It's a replay, of course, from last night, the 1-0 1991 Game 7 style 1-0 victory type of deal. Allow me to continue to say, I will take these Buffalo jerseys over the rebrand that took place in the late 90s, where it was like black, red, and kind of grayish white, whatever, all that kind of stuff. I like this Buffalo Sabres look. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, most of the success of that franchise took place during that rebrand era for the most part, but I like this classic Buffalo Sabres look. I like the blue, yellow, and then the two swords and the big buffalo in the middle. I just like it more. Sorry. I mean, I'm going to take this every time. Pat LaFontaine, eat your heart out. Was Darren Pupa the goalie there, or was he with Tampa? Now I'm curious about that guy, Darren Pupa. I like that. He was a pretty good goalie. He was a well-known guy, and the name was funny. It was different. Darren Pupa. Yeah, I misspelled it. That figures. He was a bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. See, now I'm just. Yeah. He was definitely Buffalo with the 80s into the early 90s. Yeah, and he was a Tampa. Okay. Makes sense. Maybe he was maybe it was an expansion pick, and he was decent there. I thought he was at Tampa. He was there for a long time, like about 8 years. Cool. He was also with Buffalo for about 8 years as well, and then a tiny little 8-game stint with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he was actually super duper good in an 8-game stretch. 2.25 goals against average. Very Philip Gustavsson like in that stretch. Darren Pupa was from Kirkland Lake, Ontario, and he's now 59 years of age, a 6'3", kind of like a early version of these bigger goalies. Because back then, a lot of the goalies were a little shorter. Some of them were much shorter, like Mike Vernon and stuff. So upcoming games and stuff. That's just great radio, right? Well, stuff. You know stuff. Okay, well, we're about to wrap up the month of November, as the flurries continue to flutter down. Beautiful. Absolutely. I love flurries. Yep. Marc-Andre Fleury's. Okay, yeah, I know. But I love flurries. Oh, it is creating a small dusting, but I don't care. Sorry, I had to look. But that's okay. You don't have to do anything. Just a little dusting. You don't have to do anything because it's a nice, fluffy. Yeah, I'm sorry. And it goes along with like going out to the hockey rink, which I'm going to go to in a little bit, just for the sake of, just for seeing it. I just want to see it. aesthetics, if that's the correct word. Chicago and Nashville back-to-back, the two underachieving clubs that I just made fun of. So why don't you just get swept? Yeah, they better not. Don't get swept, guys, okay? But before I lose place of where I'm supposed to be, let's get to the DraftKings ad right here and right now. The 4-25 NHL season still has a new car smell, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win, which hopefully would be the Minnesota Wild up and coming. First, though, I'll look at the NFL games in case you're listening to this on Thanksgiving. Might as well. Detroit was having an amazing year in the NFL this year. Thanksgiving football games. I mean, yeah, I should be looking at these. Detroit hosting Chicago. They host Thanksgiving forever. What do we have going on here? The spread plus 9.5. Yeah, so yeah, the Detroit Lions are basically favored by 9.5. The money line is plus 390 for the Bears. The Lions minus 520. Basically, the Lions heavily favored. So we'll see if maybe if Calvin Williams can do something for the Bears. Another matchup, but this one's worse. Obviously, Dallas several hours from now. But yeah, at the time I'm recording this, hopefully when you're listening, maybe here we go. You consider placing a bet on DraftKings there. Dallas Cowboys hosting the New York Giants. The Dallas Cowboys favored by 4. Basically, that's your spread. Plus 4, Giants minus 4 for the Cowboys. Money line is plus 160 for the Giants, again visiting the Dallas Cowboys, who've been hosting Thanksgiving forever. Minus 192. Yes, the Cowboys are better, but, they won last week. It took them like 50 years to win a game. Green Bay Packers, hosting the Miami Dolphins. A lot of us hoping the Dolphins in this one, right? Hoping. That's just from our heart. But with our pocketbooks, the Miami Dolphins plus 3.5 in the spread. Packers minus 3.5. And the money line is plus 150 for the Miami Dolphins, minus 180 for the hosting Green Bay Packers. So we'll look at the NHL very briefly here. Flyers, yeah, this is all Black Friday stuff. The Wild hosting the Blackhawks, why not? The money line, not the puck line, but the money line. The Wild are minus 245, the Blackhawks plus 200. Every Chicago team has struggled like the White Sox, oh my God. Flyers hosting with one of the cooler uniforms, only wear those darker ones. Plus 130, they're hosting the New York Rangers, minus 155. Florida and Carolina, great matchup. This is again all on Black Friday. Money line again, the hosting Hurricanes, minus 135. The Panthers, plus 114. Maybe I'll give it one more look here. Vegas Golden Knights and Winnipeg Jets. Epic matchup, might be the Western Conference Finals. Okay, we'll look at the one below it too. These might be, Western Conference Final previews. We'll see. Golden Knights, money line, hosting, minus 120. Winnipeg Jets, plus 100. So the Knights are favored. Interesting. Next one. Oh, no. Why did the internet just die? That's impossible. Okay, it came back. Sorry, that didn't make any sense. Okay, now I messed it up. The Dallas Stars hosting the Colorado Avalanche, money line minus 135 Dallas, plus 114 Colorado Avalanches. So we will continue onward. If you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN for the Hockey Podcast Network. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive the reward, yes. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling, see dkng.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. And continuing with the upcoming games. Okay, Chicago and Nashville back-to-back. What do we do there? I'd like to believe the Wild can sweep. Why do I have a feeling they're going to lose at least one of these? I have a feeling we're going to drop the stupid... we always suck in these stupid matinees. Sometimes we win, but usually we don't. The Wolves and the Wild suck at matinee games. It's just Minnesota tradition, isn't it? It kind of is. Now, the Vikings usually are matinee because it's noon or even 3 o'clock. This is a 1 p.m. Black Friday special, ESPN Plus, and da-da-da-da-da. Why do I have a feeling the Blackhawks are going to... But, I mean, the Wild have been so different this year. You're going to see Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't know. Maybe I'd put Fleury versus Blackhawks. In Nashville, you have Mr. Gustavsson. You can't have Gustavsson in both, and you obviously wouldn't dare put Fleury in both. Blackhawks, the win is... I don't know. I these matinee games, okay, just prove me wrong, damn it. Blackhawks win 4-2. Empty net goal. Most likely guy to score for the Minnesota Wild, Marco Rossi. Nashville Predators, 7-12-4. Give me a break. Minnesota Wild will win that game. Final score of 3-1. Very, very low scoring. Thank you, Gustavsson. And the most likely guy to score, Yakov Trenin, will score his first goal as a Minnesota Wild player against the Predators. Vancouver can schmucks. So it's 3 games to preview. Vancouver can schmucks. They are 11-7-3 on the season. These are all home games. So Minnesota getting 3 games in a row at home and then 3 in a row on the road going to next week's show. Anaheim, at LA. So it's the California nonsense. At Utah for the first time. That'll be cool. On Tuesday, the 10th of December. And then, the next Thursday we'll be talking about the Edmonton Oilers. And we'll be talking about them in the Game Time ad as well coming up. That's that game. Vancouver can schmucks. Well, we'll look at them a little bit here. And again, I don't want to belabor the topic too much when it comes to this. JT Miller, indefinite leave of absence. Okay. Thatcher Demko, injured reserve. Ouch. Non-roster list. Interesting in the Wild. Yep. Brodin, Locko, and Huznadinov. They just simply did not play in these particular recent games versus the Sabres, and there's not a whole lot of other information going on. But the Vancouver Canucks, they're a halfway decent team going forward. Quinn Hughes has 18 assists on the season. I don't see any points. That's kind of weird. But Pius Suter, 7 goals to lead the way. That's half of what Kaprizov has done so far. So, I don't know. I think the Wild can go 2-1 in this deal. It's a 3-game series throughout the season, ending in April the 12th. We won't play Vancouver until March the 7th. Interesting. So you have that going on. I think the Minnesota Wild win this one. Final score of something along the likes of 4-2. Kirill Kaprizov will score for the Minnesota Wild in this one, just because he's going to score in every game. Kirill is going to score in every game, I think, going forward. Okay, now we get a more definitive look here. Lankinen, the former Blackhawk, has been the main goalie there for the most part, at least of late. 10 wins, 2.56 goals against average with 2 shutouts on the season. He's actually had a pretty solid season.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like going to work on one Thursday morning and thinking to yourself, just one more day until Friday. But then somebody in the elevator says, Happy Friday! Then you check your phone quickly and discover today is actually Friday. So yes, Happy Friday, random stranger in the elevator. Happy Friday indeed. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
Overall for the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe I'll backtrack a little bit. I apologize. to look at Nashville and Chicago, just a tiny bit. But I think the Wild go 2-1 in this upcoming week. I'm just skittish on picking the Wild to win these matinee games. They always lose these. It's stupid. Ryan Donato, former Wild player, with 12 points on the season. Good for him. Connor Bedard with 4 goals and 12 assists. Nothing uber spectacular, but at least he's been decent, generally speaking. Some older guys, some younger guys, even Vlasic, the former Shark there. Mrazek has been a pretty solid goalie so far this year. 7 wins, 2.63 goals against average, and a save percentage of 91.2 to help lead the way for the Blackhawks. So kind of have a feeling the Wild do not win that game. So just prove me wrong. That's all you got to do at the end of the day. Nashville's been a massive disappointment. They are the worst team in the league in shooting percentage. That's an interesting stat to look at. And they have the least goals, despite all the money, and the least assists. So basically, they just suck at offense. They're kind of like the Wolves last year offensively, but the defense was phenomenal. Roman Josi with 18 points on the year. Good for him, but he's a minus 13. Steven Stamkos with 13 points on la saison. For Nashville, they've been downright disappointing. Saros has been an okay goalie considering, but they're just not winning games. 2.58 goals against average isn't that bad, but they aren't scoring. There's no goal support. Saros isn't necessarily dominating or anything, but you still have, I don't know, it's extremely frustrating to say the least. Yeah, at the end of the day. But so yeah, the Wild will beat Nashville 3-1, and that's probably an appropriate score. Lower scoring, the Wild shutting them down to only one lousy goal, at the end of the day. So now we'll dig into the prospects. We'll start off with Iowa. Of the active players, obviously Ben Jones, Travis Boyd, and Devin Shore all on the Minnesota Wild on the fourth line. 12 points for Jones, 11 for Boyd, 10 for Devin Shore. The leading goal scorer is Luke Toporowski out of Davenport, Iowa, at age 23. Again, like I said last year, a wonderful story. He has 6 goals and only 1 assist, though. If he could just get some damn assists. Hunter Haight also has 6 goals. We'll be talking about him in a little bit. He's only 20 years of age. So the good news is some of your best players right now are the younger guys. Some of them. But the 3 best of the 3 leading scorers are all veterans. Ben Jones is the youngest at 25. Otherwise, the Hopkins Royal. Yep, that's where I came from. Pretty cool. 30 years of age, but of course way after me. 15 years after me, I believe. That's so weird. A 30-year-old wasn't even in kindergarten when I graduated. Makes you feel old, doesn't it? Liam Ogren, only 6 games in Iowa. He's been kind of in between Minnesota and Iowa, but very productive. 6 games. He did have a hat trick a couple of weeks ago. 5 goals, 1 assist. 6 games, 6 points, basically, for him. Toporowski, only 5 games, and he's got 7 points. So, wonderful story there, coming back from injury. And a guy who's taken a huge step forward, in my opinion, at the AHL level is David Spacek. Out of, he's Czech, I believe, or is he Slovak? I keep getting those mixed up, which is on me. I apologize. Yeah, only 12 points last year with the Iowa Wild in 61 games. 12. And he was a minus 16. This year, in 16 games, already has 9 for David Spacek, and he's a minus 1. Not bad. Last year, he did have 2 goals in 3 games in the ECHL's Iowa Heartlanders, which we may look at for a minute here. But David Spacek, nice. Absolutely nice. Big step forward for David Spacek. And Hunter Haight, I think, has made a pretty good step forward into the AHL at age 20. Pretty cool for the Strathroy, Ontario native, 5'11" center. 6 goals, 3 assists, and 9 total points in 16 games. Doesn't jump out at you, but it ain't bad, considering he's 20 years old. That's like the minimum age for guys in the AHL. Jesper Wallstedt, I don't know what to tell you. 10 games. 10, right? 3 wins, 6 losses. Goals against average of 4.34. This is Jesper Wallstedt. This is not, what was the other guy that we used to have? Ben Jones or something like that? Was that his name? Man, 4.34. 86 save percentage. So hopefully Jesper Wallstedt, whatever it is, get it back. Please, friend, get it back. Please. It's really sad to see this happening, but I do believe in Jesper Wallstedt, and I'm pretty sure deep down, he's a confident guy, and he's going to get it back sooner rather than later. Damon Hunt has the same amount of points as Carson Lambeau, so 6 less games because Damon Hunt was making popcorn, unfortunately, up at the NHL but not playing. You know what I mean? He was making popcorn. Yeah, you get the idea. It's a joke, kind of. It's kind of a joke, but it's not funny for Damon Hunt. 3 points, 3 assists for Hunt and Lambeau. 14 games for Lambos, 8 for Damon Hunt. It's got to be a pain in the butt. Ryan O'Rourke, I always bring this up, was taken before Brock Faber in the draft. Before. He's a -6 in 16 games with 2 assists. Damn it, I really want to see Ryan O'Rourke do well, but that's another one that's really frustrating. Jack Pert has been in 4 games so far, and he's a -4. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Bummer. Sammy Walker's definitely taken a big step backwards, which sucks, and he's 25 now. He's definitely taken a huge step back. 13 games, 1 goal, 1, and 4 assists. But he's a +4, so, okay. Positives and negatives, I suppose. Joseph Saccone, I think it is called. Saccone? Joseph Saccone from Youngstown, New York. 27 years of age, 6 assists. That's it, no goals. Damn it. Yeah, I get the idea. So there's some pluses and minuses in Iowa. Guys that are taking steps forward, and they're literally pluses and minuses. It isn't like everybody's like -20 or something like last year. So the season started out god-awful, but things have improved. Like, they're not great, but they've improved. I think Dylan Ferguson has been a nice story. 3 games, 3 wins, 2.34 goals against average. Good for Dylan Ferguson. Dilly Ferg, I guess we could call him. He's 26, coming from Lanceville, British Columbia. Looks like a Tampa Bay Lightning prospect at one point, I do believe, but was originally drafted by the Stars. He's been kind of all over the place. We got him out of he was at the KHL last year and was pretty solid. 2.51 goals against average, okay. And he recorded a shutout, this guy here, Dylan Ferguson. He recorded a shutout in the one game he was out there for the Iowa Heartlanders, and now with the Iowa Wild. He's been really good. So, nice start to the season for him, being Dylan Ferguson. Now in his mid-20s, unfortunately, but still, okay, he's been good. Gotta give him some respect, and that's helped the Iowa Wild a bit get back winning some games. I won't call it winning ways, because I don't know. Seems like ever since they left Houston, they haven't been winning a whole lot. I know, I'm a jackass. I can't help it. It's frustrating. I want them to win. Dang it. You think I'm rooting against them? You think so? I'm not. Danila Yurov. Only 12 points in 23 games. But again, we know what they do in Russia. Yeah, we know what they do in Russia when a player's on the verge of leaving. They're like, yeah, well, you're not going to play as much. You're going to get a much smaller role with our club because na boo-boo. So that kind of sucks. But that's how they are there. Jackasses. Reger Lorenz, the Denver Pioneers. Yeah, definitely not as much this year. 14 games, 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists. Unfortunately, last year, obviously, much more. He was almost a point-a-game player last year. Big step forward in his sophomore year for the national champion Denver Pioneers. Yeah, I don't like him, but, well, whatever. Ryan Healy, 6 games, 1 assist, -2 for the Harvard club. We'll just call them for now. Harvard University, his junior year there. So that should do it for that particular draft of 22. Jimmy Clark, big step forward with the Gophers, almost a point a game. Already has exceeded last year's point total from 11 to 12 now. 3 goals, 9 assists in only 14 games, and he's a +11 for one of the best teams in the country. Hopefully the future national champs of 2025. Jimmy Clark at 20 years of age. Almost a point a game at the left wing position for your Minnesota Gophers, or at least my Minnesota Gophers. I know not everybody listening is a Gopher fan, but I am. Kalen Parker for the Calgary Hitmen. 1 game. And he's a +1. But he also played for the Moose Jaw Warriors this year, and in 19 games, he is a right-shot defenseman, being Kalen Parker. 3 goals, 9 assists, pretty good. 12 points in 19 games, that's not bad, but the -6 stinks a little bit for the defending champion Moose Jaw Warriors, where Kalen Parker had 42 points last year. They won it all in the Western Hockey League last season. Congratulations. Belated congratulations there. Aaron Pionk, well, he's doing all right. Almost a point a game for Minnesota Duluth as a left-shot defenseman. 11 assists. Good job. -1. Definitely an improved Duluth team and an improved Aaron Pionk, where last year he was about a half a point a game. This year he's almost a whole point a game as a defenseman. Nice jump upward Riley Height is averaging almost 2 points a game. Rock on, brother. Almost 2 points a game. Which is pretty much like last year, though. Which is, again, damn it, why can't he go to the AHL? He doesn't turn 20 until March 25th. Gosh, it's just a waste of time. It's like lifting, like say you're like, like imagine you can bench 300 pounds. And you're just, okay, 100 pounds, 100 pounds, 100 pounds, 100 pounds. Okay, you're not doing anything. Damn it, this is a waste of time. You might be toning up a little bit. That's about it. Come on. Like you could bench 300 pounds like you maybe like easier than a normal person. And it's just, okay, like 80 to 100 pounds. That's pretty much what it is for him right now. So it's kind of dumb. Rasmus Kompalainen went to SM Liga. He's got 11 points in 23 games, 3 goals, 8 assists, and he's a -7 so far. Charlie Stromel, who took a massive step forward, already has reached his exact point total of last year: 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points, and in only 10 games for Michigan State University. Last year with Wisconsin, 34 games and the same damn numbers. But he also goes from a -4 to a +7. Charlie Stromel, good job. Good job. Do something about that hair, though, in that photo. But no, I'm just kidding. It's an old picture. But good job. Good job. Maybe that was why he didn't play well with the Badgers. He was kind of like looking at his hair saying, I don't know. I'm kind of confused right now. Literally looks like he got up out of bed and doesn't know where he is in that picture. Kind of like a certain, let's get off of that. Stevie Leskovar, Mr. Big Boy, with 113 penalty minutes last year, only 10 this year in 5 games, and he's a -3. Anything else? Nope. He plays for the Brampton Steelheads, which are a saltwater rainbow trout. That's what a steelhead is. Kind of cool. We'll continue. I know I'm dragging this on probably longer than I should. I apologize. Chase Woodsky, Red Deer Rebels, 19 games. He's the goaltender for the Red Deer Rebels. 3.33 goals against average and a save percentage a millisecond under 90. Sebastian Soiani, 1 goal in 9 games for a right shot defenseman for SM Liga. So, yep. Well, that's the league. It's Ilves Tampere, so my apologies. So, Liga is the league. Okay, let's continue. Well, where does Kompalainen? Yeah, the Pelicans. They're just called the Pelicans. Okay, well, good for the Pelicans, damn it. That would be the Kompalainen, pardon me. Aaron Kiviharo, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Finland and Denmark, basically, is what he is. He's a Finnish player who was born in Denmark. At 18 years of age, 8 points in 25 games. Left shot defenseman for Helsinki, SM Liga. Helsinki, high FK. What does that stand for? I have no idea. 3 goals, 5 assists. Let's go. Ryder Ritchie with 10 games, 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists, and a -4 for the Medicine Hat Tigres. Just kidding. Ziam Buyum, I'm a clown. Ziam Buyum did have a hat trick recently. He has more points than games played for the University of Denver. Their number 1 prospect in the Wild system, I think by light years now. Yeah, 16 points. Left shot defenseman. Could pair with Faber potentially, or just whoever, but could be a much better version of Ryan Suter, I hope. Wouldn't that be amazing for the San Diego Cal native? Nice Jewish kid from the neighborhood, and I do say that with sincerity. +6 on the season. He was a +33 and won the Natty last year, as they call it. Man, well, he was more than a point a game last year as well. I mean, it's just, again, this might be like the benching 100 pounds when you can bench 350 or something type of deal. In Steve Williams' case, just kind of comparing it, I guess, or like a guy is batting like 600 and hitting a home run every other at bat in single A, when he probably should be at least at AAA level. Yeah, I know, I'm just saying. Okay, I shouldn't even be saying that. College hockey is actually fairly competitive. It's fairly competitive, but I mean, but for some guys, they're just, they're at superstar level at that level, and they should, you wish they could come up, but William will come up, and I don't know, I guess it's just honing his game some more, and that's fine. So, very exciting to have certain prospects in the system. It sucks how some of them have taken some steps back, but others are just continuing on the right trajectory to hopefully becoming one of the best players on the Wild going forward. So that's always a great thing. With that said, we're going to head into fan interaction, but first you'll hear from our sponsors. What is the most exciting thing about Black Friday or Cyber Monday? It's about getting an amazing deal you wouldn't normally get, except with Raycon, because with Raycon, you get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year. But that doesn't mean they're not having any sales on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Far from it. They're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering my viewers to Brave the Wild up to 30% site-wide. A Black Friday or Cyber Monday deal you'll appreciate every day? Raycon's Everyday Earbuds. Especially if you haven't checked out their latest model, which includes plenty of new features that make them even more of a must-have for any audio lover. For example, they now feature a 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. Raycon's Everyday Earbuds also come with active noise cancellation. It's a feature that's a must-have for me on those long flights or at work in any type of situation, so definitely a deal like that at work when there's noise everywhere every dang second. But one that can be difficult to find at an accessible price point until now, because that's the other thing. Although Raycon's quality rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio, Raycon's start at just half the price as the other guys, so they're already an incredible deal even before you factor in their Black Friday or Cyber Monday offer up to 30% off site-wide. Incredible. So my personal feelings about Raycons, they are absolutely outstanding. I'm a personal customer, and I already was one even before they became a part of the Hockey Podcast Network. So when I heard they were going to be a part of things here, I was absolutely thrilled. I endorse Raycon 1000%. Raycon's Everyday Earbuds are also available in a variety of vibrant colors, so you don't have to just have the standard issued white or black earbuds sticking out of your ears. So for me, my favorite color is the blue, but I think the greens are pretty cool too. That'd be a strong second choice. So obviously with Brave the Wild, green definitely is a factor in a big way. Blue, I mean, I just love it. It's a gorgeous color. Now it's the perfect time to scoop them up if you haven't already. And don't worry if you're not as impressed as I am. Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. It's time to save big for the Black Friday/Cyber Monday. Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/THPN. And we are back here on Brave the Wild. Time to get into fan interaction at Brave the Wild. At Brave the Wild is the X account. There's also a Instagram. It is Brave the Wild _MN. Brave the Wild _MN. I need to interact more on that one, but unfortunately, a lot of us, it's a team effort. I need you guys to interact with me too. No, I need to be better about it, no doubt. Luckily, there's some followers there, so we really appreciate those of you that have done that historically. So I thought I had this up. Again, hashtag BTWMN is a way to keep things organized if humanly possible. I really appreciate the interaction from those of you that have been kind enough to do so. Just want to make sure. Okay. Yep. Okay, everybody's there. We'll go back where we need to be. Was there any response to... Nope. Okay, I was going to see if there's any response on the recent post of the recent episode. Ready for the Thanksgiving Brave the Wild? Thoughts on everything Minnesota Wild? I know it's not the greatest way to get people talking, so I apologize if that's a little on the lame side. Jay Bushy, always love hearing from you. Jumping on board, says, what can they do to win against the Jets, Stars, and Avs? I think there was like a lame response by somebody. Oh, it's not lame, but it's kind of. Stop more shots and score more goals. That'd be Morty. And I don't mean to be calling you lame. I love you, Morty. I'm just teasing you. It's just like, stop more shots and score more goals. Yeah, I mean, yes, but it is kind of like that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a combination of several things. Obviously, staying healthy, and staying healthy, being more focused. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like that. it's almost like don't get intimidated. It's kind of like they get intimidated versus these teams, especially the Stars and Avs historically. Gosh, especially I think Stars are the king of all when it comes to this team. It's like we just get intimidated, like Twins and Yankees. Oh, they're staring at the pinstripes. That's kind of what it feels like. It's like stop staring at the pinstripes. That's it's more of a mental thing I think than anything else, and just I don't know. Obviously, staying healthy and simply play better than the other team. That kind of thing. So. Next, Derek Felska lightning round hath returned da. I always love hearing from Derek Felska in the lightning round. Crease and assist, and it's at Crease and Assist, and of course the Crease Assist podcast, which is absolutely great. Amazing show with Dan, Minnesota. It was 2 shows ago now. Great show. Absolutely great. And I've been watching those documentaries more. I think in the past I only watched like the first part or 2 about the North Stars leaving and kind of all the history from like 67 all the way up to, like more modern times. But including part 2 also had the slap shot. It also had the whole conversation with the St. Paul Fighting Saints, and what cool stories. Some of it's a little crazy, like the brawling and some of the fans like throwing stuff and all that. So that's kind of nuts, but it is what it is. I mean, that's how it is. And it's amazing to think that, it's like you think like we had 2 professional hockey teams at the time. It's a bummer that they couldn't keep things going, but of course, it's just, and at the end of the day, they both ended up leaving one way or another. The Fighting Saints folded, which is depressing, and the North Stars left for Dallas, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I'm on part 3 now. Dan, Minnesota, what an amazing job. He really put a lot of time and effort into those videos. Yep, it's like, they're so good. So, yep, look up Dan, Minnesota on YouTube. And again, Derek did a great job hosting that show. And then the next one, apparently they had recorded a show and lost it with, there was all 3 of them, Derek, Kalisha, Townsville, and Teresa. Kalisha and Teresa. Rolls right off your tongue, right? They lost the show for some reason. It didn't record. I think I did that. Or no, one time I'd recorded a whole Purple Mafia. It was after the Vikings, I think we lost to the Saints in 2010 season opener. And the computer blue screened to death and I hadn't saved it. Like a complete idiot. That's why I religiously stop and save in between the segments at the very least. Like, you've got to save. I've been doing that ever since. That's 2010. That's a long, and I was already a semi-veteran podcaster by that point. I think I've been, kind of. It was like 2 years. It's not that long. It was the 3rd year. But, this computer blue screened of death as I was editing or something, and I hadn't saved, or it was right as I ended the show. I was like the stupidest, most depressing thing ever. And I said, bleep it, I'm not re-recording that because I put so much effort into that show. So stupid. So yes, but then they re-recorded. It was Derek and Teresa. Kalisha had to go to work, I believe. So, but still a really, really nice show. But I can only imagine the frustrations with that. Sorry for belaboring that topic. Continuing with Derek. Sorry. Why do you think Minnesota Wild coaches are either unimpressed, unmoved by? See, here it is, Marco Rossi. Or Rossi, but I like to say Rossi. Does the organization realize they can't afford a big extension with either stupid money they spent on 13, holy crap, 17 or 38? And it's an attempt to drive the price down? Oh, man. Yeah, yes, it's. I would hope that I would hope they realize what they did. I hope they realize what they did was stupid. Yakov Trenin makes almost little to no sense. Now, I mean, did the penalty kill part of me improve that much? Not really. Foligno, 4 years, $4 million. Every time I just think of that, and I'll tell you this every single time I bring it up, I covered my face when I saw that. I literally, and I'm not kidding, that's what I did. I was really upset. 4 years, $4 million for Foligno, who was over 30 at the time already, you know what I mean? Yeah. Ryan Hartman, I don't know. A lot of fans love him. I just don't feel the same. I just don't. It's really frustrating. And then, oh my God, Urov is coming. Yeah, but we don't know if Urov is going to be good right away. You don't know. I mean, he should be, but we don't know. We don't know. It's not like Kuznetsov is tearing it up, but again, Kuznetsov wasn't as highly touted as Urov, even though he was pretty good at the KHL, but never great. Marco Rossi, I think, should at least get some kind of a bridge deal. I think it's really sad because Marco Rossi, I think is a top 3 scorer on it. Yeah, on a decent hockey team, maybe even a good one. Yeah, he could be a 60 to 70 point player. Maybe he might even be an 80 point player because he's still super young. Look how long Kaprizov took to become what he is today. Think about that, though. Think about it. Like Rossi in 2 to 3 years from now, he might be an 80-plus point player. Maybe even beyond that. Like, probably not, but he's, there is absolutely something there, and he's a two-way player. He's a 200-foot center, as they call him. He's legit. He can play both power play and penalty kill, as far as I'm concerned. He's a damn good player. He's not in the superstar level yet. And last year, it's like he finally was like decent, like good, like 40 points, like middle 6-ish. This year, clearly, he's top 6-ish. So, I don't know, it's freaking frustrating. It's stupid, and I know Russo agrees with us. He's like, what are they doing? So, I think it's freaking stupid. And obviously, those three players you mentioned, Trenin, Foligno, and Hartman. God, that's a lot of money. I mean, that's you had those three together, you could probably do the next Kaprizov contract practically, almost, not quite, but sure, certainly Marco Rossi, like 5 to 6, 7, something like that. But we'll see. Maybe we're probably looking at a bridge contract and hope for the best. But it's a bummer. It really is. I think it's sad, especially all the dedication Marco Rossi gave to them. So I don't know. Stop with the stupid ass, grid players. That's what I'm frustrated with. And now I got the Timberwolves flashing on the screen after you saw Gustavsson finish off his shutout. Yeah, Timberwolves. Another fourth quarter collapse. That's wonderful. Next, rumors are swirling. The team is interested in Columbus. Here we go. Blue Jackets prospect David Jurasek. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Any interest, or will it turn out to be Cam Barker 2.0? I'm guessing it won't be Cam Barker 2.0, but I don't want to spend that much. Yeah, because I did see the poll. I kind of jokingly said, yeah, like you'd be willing to trade one of the prospects. What was it? Haight? Who was it? Hunter Haight. Yeah, it's like one or two of the prospects and or a first round or like a draft pick. It might have been a first round pick. That might be a little too expensive. If it's like, I remember one of them was Hunter Haight. Riley Height, I'm not in a huge rush to get rid of. Hunter Haight, though, he's taking a nice step forward, too. So it's like, I think I'm leaning no. I think I'm leaning no. And I had the guy up here, doggone it. Now I lost him. There he is. Yeah, because so far, what was he, 2022 6th overall pick. Sounds similar to the 6th overall pick from 2019 in the NFL that the Minnesota Vikings signed to practice squad. Check out the Purple Mafia podcast. Yeah, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones signs with the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. Probably will be elevated very soon so he doesn't get scooped up or whatever, even though that the player can say no if the Raiders try to scoop him up or whatever. Because the Raiders, that's football purgatory, let me tell you. It's worse than Jacksonville, I think. Or maybe not. Jurasek, 43 games recently. Yeah, 23, 24, 10 points. Obviously, stats don't say everything. Columbus has been up and down and blah, blah, blah. I will lean no. He did have 38 points for the Cleveland Monsters in the AHL in 22-23. 38 points in 58 games. That's pretty good. Minus 11, though. Minus 16 last year and only 29 games in the AHL. No. Sounds like something they would do, though, doesn't it? No. Yeah, I'm going to say no. Okay. So, yes, that's a good question, though. That's awesome. I like when you bring up a player like that because it's interesting. But, it's interesting. But if they try to give up too much. See, like, if Lambos, yeah, I know Lambos is on the list. I would consider dealing him. I would consider that one because Lambos, to me, I don't see it. I don't see Lambos becoming much of anything. So if it's Lambos and maybe one other of the players, not freaking Ogren, because I know Ogren is one of the groups just because it's for the sake of conversation, right? It's not like Derek is saying, trade Ogren, of course not. I might do a Lambos deal for Jurasek and see what happens. I might be willing to do that, yes. I don't know about with the first round pick. That's the only one I'd be willing to part with out of those, Haight, Lambos, and Ogren. Just Lambos. Lambos is the only player I'd be willing to part with, possibly, and then maybe hate or a draft pick, and not a first rounder, like a second round, something like that. I might consider it, but if it's a first rounder, I don't think so. Gosh, yeah, I think it's risky. Next, why are the Minnesota Wild so much better on the road than they are at home this season? Is it time the team was put in a hotel for home games or not? You know what? It seems to be a tradition, because as I was watching that Dan Minnesota episode go dating way back 40 years ago, like was it 79, 80-ish, around there, the North Stars were winning in Montreal, right? And other places like on the road. And then they'd come home and it'd just be a massive letdown. Like, come on, guys. It just seems like it's been that way forever. I'm talking about the 1979-80 North Stars did the same nonsense. It's a Minnesota thing, I swear. Except for, and I know the North Stars were really good at home in 91, but of course they had to be good on the road as well, because you had to win. They won all the game ones. They beat the Blackhawks, the Blues, the Oilers, and the Penguins in game one, which is a pretty impressive feat to be able to accomplish that from first round to the Cup Finals, which it was called then, and I still like that better. It seems to be a tradition, but it could be time to put them in a hotel. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Like, why do Minnesota teams always it's like they just stop playing? And by the way, see what the North Star or the Wild home ice advantage in a series. They are 0 for infinity. They have not won a single series that they had home ice advantage in. Do you realize that? Like, okay, we beat the Avalanche. They could win the Stanley Cup this year. Holy cow, they're like an amazing team when we beat them. Vancouver had a great, unbelievable record, and we beat them in a 7-game series. Now we get the 7th-seeded Ducks, so this will be easy. We have home ice advantage. And then this, who's this stupid goalie? Nobody's heard of him. Okay, we'd heard of him, but he's nothing special. And we get swept. Home ice advantage versus St. Louis. Highly better. Well, yeah, it actually started with the Colorado a couple years later. Home ice advantage, Wild win the division, lose in 6. You have home ice advantage way better than the St. Louis Blues with Mike Yeo. Great season with Boudreau, losing 5 freaking games. What the hell? And then we do it again with St. Louis years later. 5 freaking games again with Berube as coach. Really, guys? Really? It was Dean Evason's best year as head coach of the Wild, arguably. I mean, it was a great season. 5 games. 5 frickin' games. Home ice advantage. So, yes, put them in a hotel. Yes, I belabored that topic way too much. But it's like, that one sticks in my craw because it's ridiculous. Continuing. Who was the worst skater you ever seen in the NHL, past or present? Oh, boy. I don't know if I'm good at this. But I'm sure there have been a few. There have been a few, but I mean, again, I'm not really the best judge of skating, generally. I'm trying to think, though, gosh, because there have been a couple that were kind of cringeworthy at times. I know the early Wild, most of them were really good skaters. They were kind of focused on that, but they couldn't play. Like Aaron Gavey could skate, but he couldn't play. Stacey Roost couldn't skate, could skate, but he couldn't play, and so on and so forth. You could go on all day with all the different guys. Walls could really skate, and he could play, but he wasn't great. He was good. Wes Walls, of course. I don't know. Damn it. I'm trying to think of some guys, but they have to be NHL, of course. I may have to come back on that one. I mean, I don't think Matt Johnson was a great skater. I remember I didn't like what I saw too much there. That might be a lame answer. If something comes to me as I'm scrolling up, I'll continue. But right now, I'll just say Matt Johnson. I'll just say Matt Johnson, and I'm probably way wrong. He probably was way better than what I'm thinking. But my memories, I know there were some guys, but I can't put them together, and I apologize. Which current Minnesota Wild player appears like they are often on a Thanksgiving Day feast hangover? Marcus Johansson. Yep. Sometimes Foligno, too, for Pete's sake. Sometimes, seriously. Sometimes he looks like he's just oh, whoops, Foligno and Marcus Johansson, JoJo. Yeah, current player, of course, yes. Yeah, it's got to be those guys. Next, continuing. The Minnesota Wild currently use a loon sound when a Wild player exits the penalty box, much like other NHL teams use video game sounds for the same thing, like doo-doo, yeah, like, the Mario coin. Speaking of that, Super Mario Brothers, yes sir, I'm reviewing that one for Christmas for Video Game Flashback, Super Mario Brothers. Next, which video game sound effect do you wish the Minnesota Wild would use, and for what reason? For what reason? Well, you could have the drrrr, like the mushroom, like, yep, we're powering up again. The power play for the other team is over. I think the mushroom, because it's like you're powering back up again. Now you're the Super Wild again. So like the Super Mario mushroom. That's what I'll go with that one. That might be kind of kiddie, but it's good though. I think it's good. Yeah, I was almost doing the Blades of Steel one that makes that. It's like a little, like it's not a whistle. It's like a different sound when the player exits the penalty box. That'd be a fun idea too, but I'll go with the mushroom. Next, Derek continues. The Derek Felska lightning round continueth. If Jets, Avalanche, and Stars were a video game boss to the Minnesota Wild, which ones would they be? Pick one for each team. Ooh. Stars. Let's see. The Jets. I think Jets might be Bowser. The Jets might be Bowser. You can beat him, but sometimes he's hard and annoying, and it's just, damn it, anyway, Especially like Mario 1, Bowser's really hard in that game because if your timing is just a little bit off, you're going to get hit by something. So we'll say Bowser in Super Mario 1 for Jets. Avalanche, excuse me. The Avalanche might be like, you know how hard Quickman can be in Mega Man 2? I mean, he's really tough, especially if you don't have the weapons sometimes. Or if, you're just like ill-equipped or whatever. And the Avalanche are very fast. Oftentimes, they just seem to skate around you. They're a great skating club, like historically. So I might go with Quickman for the Avalanche, in a way. Even though you think of more of like a final boss. But the Quickman Doc Robot in Mega Man 3, where he's way harder. He's hard in that game. So the Doc Robot version of Quickman in Mega Man 3, he's actually way harder in that game. Oh yeah, and you could be ill prepared for that one very easily. The Dallas Stars, sometimes it feels like the final boss in FF3 for the NES, the one no one's heard of and I haven't really heard of either. You just can't beat him. It's too hard. It's like impossible, and it's annoying. Like you can do it, but you can't do it. Like what the hell? Just do it. That seems to be what the Stars are. They're like the final boss in FF, not FF6, like the FF3 Super Nintendo game, but the Japanese Final Fantasy 3 for the Nintendo Famicom. I guess the final boss in that game is like pretty much unbeatable. Obviously, people have beaten it, but it's kind of like you just can't sometimes. I might even go with like Gigas. For like one of these could be Gigas, like the Avalanche, but no, that's Quickman because they're really quick. Otherwise, Gigas or Gygas in Earthbound, you just have to pray, just keep praying, and then all of a sudden, finally, you just have to pray, right? It's either Gygas in Earthbound or Final Fantasy III's final boss, but it's pretty much unbeatable. See, like Gygas is unbeatable unless you keep praying, which is funny because you're just praying for help. Like otherwise, you can't beat it. It's too powerful of an entity. You just can't. It's too powerful. That's kind of what the Stars feel like. And there's this. There's the poll, and I do appreciate that hashtag BDWMN is included there. I appreciate that. And in the future, I'll include Priest podcast when I do a poll. I think I did, but I've been lazy about polls. Like Derek stole my idea. Damn it! Remember when I started. Years ago. But no, I'm saying that in a playful way because polls rock. And obviously we're not the first people to do polls for our podcast. So yeah, they work. They're nice. If the Wild were to part with one or two of Ogren, Haight, Lambos, and a draft pick. So it's and a draft pick. It doesn't have to be a first round pick. So yes, I was jokingly put yes only if 89 goes too. It should be 17. Get rid of 17. I'd actually rather keep Freddie Goudreau than Marcus Foligno. You know why? Half the price. Half the price, and he actually can win a face-off. When he's got his head out of somewhere, he can actually win a face-off. Foligno, I'm just done. I'm done with Foligno if we can. I mean, I remember how mad you guys were about the neon knee situation with the that was part of the last Crease podcast, and I agree with that 1,000,000%. Foligno, are you even like, where are you, man? Yeah, so Foligno, I'm just done. Let's change it only if 17 goes too. So I would say Lambos, Foligno, and a second or third round pick, maybe third. Well, we'll start with that. Obviously, in negotiating for David Jurisic. And if I'm mispronouncing that, sorry, I shouldn't be mispronouncing that. I think that's correct. Yeah, change it to 17, and you got yourself a deal. Take on that $4 million for a guy that's I don't know. He can go play with he can go over there in Columbus with Dean Evison. Dean wants those gritty guys, remember? And yes, 89 can go. If it has to be 89, then so be it, Jedi. With that said, I think I've babbled enough, but I've had a hell of a time doing this. Really enjoyed doing this show. Hope you enjoy this as well, and I hope I haven't come off as rusty or just like a clown here today. And so I apologize if I joke around a little too much, but sometimes you got to have fun with the show. And yes, it's been a fun season. It's been a positive start to the year. We're one quarter in, so it looks like this team is going to have a winning season and a playoff season, and hopefully can do something besides just losing in the first round. John Hynes' ability to make adjustments has been a huge improvement. And of course, keeping whatever method he's using to keep these players more focused so they're not, one of the league leaders in penalty minutes has made a unbelievable, it's made a monumental change to this franchise this year. So John Hynes should be in Coach of the Year conversation. Is that a crazy thought? Jack Adams conversation? I think he should be. I think John Hynes should be in Coach of the Year conversation. At least in it. Like, will he win it? I don't know. Let the season continue and find out. But is John Hynes, this could be a poll, like, is John Hynes at least a top 3 Wild coach already? Has he already reached at least top 3 status, like Jacques Lemaire, and then you can enter either Boudreau or Mike Yeo with him? Those are probably the other guys, because I think he's better than Dean Evison. John Torchetti wasn't here long enough, and plus he was more offense and no defense, so on and so forth. Todd Richards, I don't think even gets in the conversation. He was most likely the weakest coach we ever had, with all due respect to him. Crystal native. Crystal, you realize Crystal, Minnesota is less than a mile from where I live? Yeah, so I'm not trying to be a jerk to Todd Richards. It just didn't work out, that's all. So it just didn't. That's a fact. So John Hynes to me is he's a good coach, damn it. And you could kind of feel it last year, but this year you're really feeling it more. He's a good coach, and I'm happy to have John Hynes as coach of the Minnesota Wild. We'll end this episode with that thought. I want to wish each and every one of you a very, very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoy it. I'm guessing 99.9% of you celebrate it, and doggone it, why not? Shout outs, of course, to MNW Young Guns / MNW Prospects, Pavel Bennett, Justin Bakke. You guys are the absolute best. I love you. Obviously, Crease Assist Podcast, Derek Velska, Collegiate Council, and Teresa Ferries. Big, massive shout out to Minnesota Wild Global. Great Facebook page with Scott Cavendish. I'm getting people mixed up. Sorry. Scott Cavendish, Kathy Main, Michael Fick, David and Chance Kostick, Chad Walski, many others. Great page. Absolutely awesome. Minnesota Wild Nation, Patrick Turner. He's also a Florida Panthers fan, and why wouldn't he be? If you're in Florida, great team. Good job, guys. And if we don't win it, I wouldn't be pissed off if you won again. So, Florida, great job last year, obviously, and doing a great job again this year. I think we're caught up with everyone here. Obviously, huge shout-outs to DraftKings, Game Time, and Raycon. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. Really appreciate you at the Hockey Podcast Network. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you in a week.